Ian, can you bring the audience up to date with what is happening at the Baily's building here in Glastonbury?
Yes, well finally we've got funding through the Town Deal Fund to actually make this dream come to reality. We've been nursing these buildings for nearly 20 years to try and save them for the community, and now we've got the funding in place and we're now working nearly to the point of getting planning permission to be able to get this project underway.
So what personally excites you about being part of this project in Baily's?
I mean, it's obviously part of it is keeping the heritage of Glastonbury alive, but it's more really about bringing some sound places for people to work back into use. So there is 30,000 square feet of space here, which we're hoping to make a really modern, but within a listed building, workspace. And we'll make it easy for people, especially local people, to come here if they want to start a business.
And what sort of mix do you potentially see here? Would it be a mixture of, administrative or manufacturing or design and art and craft? Well, how would you see the mix ultimately in the newly refurbished building?
Well, if we could get all those things in one place, then this would be perfect. And because the building is split into, there's a lovely big quadrangle in the middle, and it is split into various little units, it will be quite reasonable to have manufacturing in certain ends of the building that wouldn't conflict with social enterprise or office work or things like that at the other end of the building. I mean, you've got to remember that when it was a manufacturing site, there was chemists working, there was sales working, there was all the people who would comprise a big business running out of this one setup, so it should work.
What are your memories of this building and its significance in Glastonbury's manufacturing history?
I mean, I can remember coming here in the 60s when it was fully trading and there was people working in every nook and cranny of the building, and it was heaving and the trade and trade was good, and people were on piecework rates and earning really serious, for the time, serious money.
So give me an example of one of the products that was actually made in this building here in Baily's.
I mean, one of their biggest markets was sheepskin rugs. I mean, that was probably the biggest thing they made. And we said that these days people have pretty carpets, but in the 60s, a sheepskin rug was a thing to be proud of. And the market was huge. And also they made boxing gloves here.
Did they?
And they made for Henry Cooper and they made for Cassius Clay.
What message would you like to give out to the community at this point in its nascent development?
That if you're thinking that in the future you might like to start a small business and you want to stay in Glastonbury, here might be the opportunity to be able to just do that, because this is going to be modern spaces, properly insulated, with a green credential that would be here to encourage small Glastonbury businesses to get started or to expand.
Can you briefly describe the sort of sustainability vision in terms of its energy consumption for this building?
Well, what we're going to try and do is make an exemplar example of what the insulation can do to actually reduce the energy requirement. So we got big stone buildings, but they leak, well, they allow moisture in, and we've got to put moisture barriers, and they also leak heat, and the windows are single glazed, and nothing was geared up for the sort of modern energy. And so we're hoping to insulate with various different materials, sort of Celotex, sheep's wool, fiberglass, so that we can show people the difference in different locations and how effective they are. And also we're going to try and heat it with ground source heat pumps, air source heat pumps, and hopefully be able to put a windmill up to actually generate our own power.
And what will be the function of its magnificent chimney? Because that's going to be our own part of the site, isn't it?
It is, and at the moment that is a bit of a challenge. I mean, we've named the chimney Nancy in memory of Nancy Hollingray, one of our trustees who's recently passed, but has worked all the years to keep this, and actually was the person who got these buildings listed. So it will be really brilliant if we can come up with a solution that, and one of the things is that we might be able to use it as some sort of cooling tower, but it could also be used as an aerial. You could perhaps put aerials inside it. So we're hoping that we should be able to find a practical use for it.
So 21st technology discreetly hidden by 19th century brickwork.
Absolutely, yeah, and why not? And that's really what we want to try and talk about in the factory. Why, when if Glastonbury people were so good and dexterous to be able to make things like boxing gloves, they should be able to make the modern things of the 21st century. And why are we importing all this from China when we could actually make it in Glastonbury?
And do you think there'd be opportunities for young people, not just to come in as potential tenants later on, but actually to be involved in the development and the redesign of this wonderful site?
Well, certainly one of the remits when we're going out to tender for work is that people will need to make sure that they employ apprentices. And there is lots of lime mortar work to be done. There's going to be lots of interesting work in terms of the insulation that we've already talked about, but also in terms of work on the roofs. There's going to be a whole range of building techniques which are a bit unique. You know, it's not the standard putting up a tin shed. I mean, this is the renovation of a listed building, so it's going to be interesting.
Thank you, Ian. Thank you very much indeed. We look forward to its next stage.